Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Thoughts from a TV Geek. My name's Sean Scott.
And I'm Kelly Neal, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite shows.
So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. Tonight we're going to start talking about The Walking Dead, which, as we all know, just had its mid-season finale, which personally I thought was phenomenal. There were some dud episodes for me this season, just a couple, not too many, but this one really made up for it. It was action-packed, punched hour and a half between what happens to Spencer, Maggie, kind of see Maggie taking over at the hilltop, kind of growing in her a little power there.
Yep.
You know?
I'd said a couple of months ago, wow, it's been that long, that I think this season is going to be kind of the year of the woman, so to speak, where they're all kind of rising up and creating their own power.
Oh, sure.
Even Carol, even though we haven't seen her in a little while, but being in the kingdom, she's being brought in and kind of being prompted to be the leader of it, although I'm not sure she wants to be.
Exactly.
But I wonder what's going to happen once she hears from Rick and that group, if she then kind of says, wait a minute, I got to get back on track here.
That's what I'm wondering, if that's when Carol is going to change her mind. You know, right now it's the whole pacifist thing and she doesn't want to be involved and all that. But I have a feeling that when everybody else shows up, that will somehow, some way, basically drag her into it and get her more involved.
Well, I can't see how not. With Negan coming into the group and kind of breaking down Daryl, or at least trying to break down Daryl, breaking down Rick, kind of breaking down Carl.
Trying.
I think when it comes to him is where Carol's going to go, all right, hold on. Now you're messing with the kid kind of thing.
Right.
And that might just kind of, the mother instinct in her might come back. Just be like, no, you can't, I'm not playing that.
But you know what? Through this whole thing, Carl has really never fully backed down from Negan, other than the point of self-survival, especially and then when his sister was involved at the house, he knew not to do anything stupid to get her hurt. But other than that, you have not seen that cowing down from Carl like he got from Rick.
Well, he's learned a lot from Rick over time of how to kind of play your cards right. Know when to strike, know when to hit back, and know when to go, I need to take a step back here and reassess what's going on because my next step could cause a chain of events that you can't come back from.
Sure.
So I think he's learned from that. And, we also see him with Negan. He kind of shoots up the place a little bit, gets a couple of the bad guys. Negan takes him in and kind of plays cat and mouse with them. You kind of see a little bit of Carl in there, but again, like you said, it's more for survival as opposed to trying to be the tough guy, because he's gonna be the badass at some point.
I'm sure.
Or his time's coming. I just don't know what that trigger is going to be. This might be it. I've heard rumors of Negan taking him in and kind of, in a way, befriending him, taking him under his wing a little bit.
Really?
I don't know if learning some tips from him and how nasty people can be, well, to survive, but also to, build trust in him to take him on at some point. I mean, one of the main characters has got to take him on.
I think the plan from the end of the mid-season finale, the plan is to get everybody together, because I think that is the one major thing that Rick's group learned, is that they went to go take care of this themselves, and they're a small group comparatively, and they learned the hard way that Negan Negan's group is huge. So they have to all band together and basically be a united force.
Right, right.
But it's almost like building your army.
Right. Well,
You know?
what I'm kind of wondering is if, will there be enough people between the kingdom, because we don't know the extent and the size of the kingdom.
Right. We don't know specifics on any of them. Hilltop seems kind of small.
Yeah, they seem kind of they kind of
The kingdom
like
seemed bigger.
Alexandria. They seem they do seem very tight and very small.
Yeah.
The fence, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of that
It's
they
like
have a lot of space.
the one big house and then the smaller houses like where Maggie and them are staying
right,
in.
right. What we've seen too from Oceanside, that the women there can fight. They know how to fight. So
Yep.
will Michonne? No, it wasn't Michonne. It was
Tara.
Tara. Will she go back there, seek them out, and say, "Hey, look,
To get
this is
their
what
help.
we're doing. They killed your guys, or got rid of them, or took them, or whatever. Why don't you join with us?" And now they have another. It looked like a pretty good sized force there.
Yeah.
30, 40, 50 people.
Sure,
So,
sure.
And it looks like they know how to fight. I mean, the little girl knows, is looking to get in on the fight. So they have numbers.
Exactly.
And they seem more trained. The Hilltop doesn't seem trained at all
No.
in any form capacity. They're just trying to survive. The Kingdom looks like they may have some fighters there.
Yes, because especially like the guys that wear the outfits and
They're
we're
like
dealing
the
with the
cop gear
pigs
on
and
the
they
horses,
actually
yeah.
do they're like the force for them,
Right.
is at least what it seems.
Right.
But everybody can be trained. I mean, this is something that would not happen right away. It's
Right.
basically this slow, without Negan's
Well,
knowledge, building up.
They're going to stretch it out. From what I know, the gentleman who plays Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, from what I understand, he's been re-signed for next year.
Yes.
So not next season, but next year. So this is going to go on for a couple of seasons. To what capacity? I don't know. Maybe the next half of the season, starting I think in February 17. Maybe that's where it's going to start. The training and the building of the outside armies with Alexandria, the Kingdom, Hilltop, and possibly Seaside. Maybe that's the end of the year. The end of the season will be the culmination
Of all
that.
that. I don't know if it's true, but I did hear a rumor too that coming back in February, the last half of the season, there's actually time that goes by. So it doesn't pick up right where we left off. Right. Supposedly, I do not know if this is true, but it is what I heard, that some time will go by, which will have time for things to have happened.
I mean, they have to have Rick meet Ezekiel. Mm-hmm. So that's not something that's just gonna, hey,
Yes.
we've been here
We've
for
been
2
here,
days and
right.
everybody's cool now. No,
I would think.
He's got to be introduced somehow.
I would think so, yeah. So what do you think about Spencer?
He's always been a jerk.
Always. Never liked him.
I think he was bound to have something happen to him eventually. I figured it was going to happen earlier. I thought he was going to get caught out with the walkers.
Right.
And in the writing, to kind of put him out there in the sense of, having the guts to go out and say, hey, look, I'll turn him in for you. This is what I want.
But here's the thing. As soon as that was happening and I realized this was his plan, I was watching with a friend of mine and I said to her, he's going to be a dead man, because that is not what Negan respects at all.
Yeah.
Look at Carl killed 2 of his men, sneaked in by himself because he doesn't know that Jesus was with him, sneaked in by himself, and he has total respect for that. Daryl, total badass, on a one-on-one fight could probably kick Negan's ass, but he respects it. He wants to break him so that it'll work for him, because he knows he would never voluntarily just work for him. Right. But he respects that. And then for Spencer to come, I don't know, it was like a sniveling coward. Put me in charge. Well, Rick's going to do, it was just like...
I don't know, he wasn't groveling about it.
No, but I can see that that's where Negan's mindset would be, that, really? Seriously? You're going to come to me with that?
Yeah, don't come to me with the business plan. Come to me with the body. Yeah. I'll give you. Well, was it? It wasn't Tara. It was Rosita, who again, like Carl, stepped up to the plate, took a shot for the team. Saw an opening. Although she did it out of anger. She probably should have waited, but she did it out of anger, and it seems like she was about missed by that much.
She hit Lucille.
All right. I'm no expert on firearms and ball bats, but you know what? The bullet should have gone through. It was a weak bullet.
I don't know where Lucille was. I don't know if it was in front of him or the side of him. I don't know.
But here's the thing.
But supposedly it grazed off Lucille.
It was in it.
It actually hit Lucille.
Yeah, it was stuck in the middle. And I'm like, no, that doesn't happen with wood. But,
No.
It's TV, so you got to suspend belief a little bit. And it was a nice catch, if you will. And, sets her up to kind of be closer to him in a way, because he's not going to get rid of her.
Right.
He's going to keep her on his side to say, look, this is a bad chick, man. Don't mess with her. And she's going to move up in the ranks.
It was sad, though, that the repercussion of that, and something that, unfortunately, she's going to have to live with, Rosita's going to have to live with, is the same thing that Daryl blaming himself for the direct result of Glenn's death. She's going to be blaming herself for the direct result of Olivia's death. So, that's going to be
true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's going to be probably something that's going to haunt her. So who knows in the future, she'll probably think twice,
So far, Carol's the only one who's backed down, and that's more of her and Morgan are the only two that have backed down morally. And nobody else has. Everybody's kind of become stronger. And Daryl, even though he has that on his conscience, Daryl is he's fighting. He ain't stopping nothing.
Negan couldn't break him. Could not break him one iota. So, they've all have gained in strength. And it's interesting, you brought up Daryl. In the end, when Rick finally sees Daryl, at the hilltop, and when Daryl hands him his gun, there's an interesting kind of symbolism there, because Negan took the guns away, took Rick's gun, and Rick was broken at that point. And then Daryl hands him back, and now they're talking about fighting back, and he gets his gun back. So it was a very cool symbolism.
It was, it was literally giving the power back to Rick. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Literally, and not just figuratively, and so getting that back, he has his power, and so to speak. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen next and how it's then going to progress. Daryl's the only one who's not, or one of the people not in the comics. So nobody really knows what his destiny is going to be in this.
Not at all.
So my thought is, so what's going to happen to him when Negan finds out he's gone?
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's going to go searching for who let him go in the first place.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And I think it was actually Jesus who got him out of there.
Yes.
And what's Jesus's whole thing? He can sneak in and out of places.
I know.
Really easy,
he's cool. He's good.
with nobody knowing.
He's good.
At least that's my opinion. Is it was him who got him out? So
I think so.
we shall see.
We'll find out in February.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Nate Morrison. Welcome to Thoughts for a Podcast Geek, where I tell you all about the podcasts that you should be listening to. What do you get when you cross X-Men and psychoanalytical results? That's a very strange question, but I like you, so I guess I'll answer you. You get the Bright Sessions, starring Julia Morizawa. Imagine the X-Men if you didn't have Professor X, but instead you had a psychotherapist who is just generally trying to make sure that these people have a better life, who could fit normally into society. Where you and I have normal problems, they have all of those problems, as well as they have powers such as empathy, time travel, but I'm going off on a tangent. The writing is beautifully portrayed by Lauren Shippen, who also plays a character named Samantha Barnes, that aforementioned time traveler. It's a roller coaster of emotions as all of these mutant-like youngsters and not so youngsters all coalesce into this vat of invasion of patient-doctor confidentiality. All in all, it is a fantastic listen. And they actually just started season 2, so catch up while you can. Have a podcast that you need me to listen to? Even though I probably have? Tweet me, TFA Podcast Geek. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Hey guys, next we're going to talk about Westworld. What's going on? This thing is so crazy. I have a hard time following it. I need a second season, and I understand that I don't think it's supposed to come out until 2018.
18.
That's a long time to wait. Now
Yes.
in Europe, they do that all the time.
Yes.
You know, they could go 3 or 4 years from one season to the next. So to do it here is just mind blowing. I can only assume one or two things. Some of the actors are contracted for movies, and they can't do it in that same time frame, or they have to bring in so many new people.
What I heard was that they really want to get the story right. And because with season 1, apparently there were rewrites and this and that to really try and get it right. It apparently had a totally different ending, and that all got rewritten. Before they even start filming, they want to make sure that they have the best story possible so that that doesn't happen to them again.
Well, I'm glad they're doing that for HBO. Within HBO, because when True Detectives came out, the first season was mind-blowing. That was amazing. The second season, everybody was like, eh.
Right.
And they're not making, they're done. They're not making anymore.
Sure. Sure.
But it was because of that. You work so long on crafting a first season and put, 10, 15 years of writing into this, then you get picked up for a second season and go, oh, what?
Right.
We got to write now. We got to start writing.
Exactly.
And a lot of writers panic, and they don't make it good. They end up getting that sophomore slump.
Yep.
So it's good to see that they're doing that, taking a step back and saying, no, we want to write this right. Good.
Exactly.
Good for them.
Exactly. But I think I love this series. I think it's phenomenal. One of my favorite quotes is from Arnold. Consciousness isn't a journey upward, but a journey inward. And I think that this whole series is about consciousness. It's about sentience. It's about the hosts becoming human or more human, like they're real. They're not just robots, And I think that Dolores is the first one to really know that. We see that in the finale. We see that change where she finally puts the pieces together. And it's interesting because when the man in black, he wants to know what the maze is and what's the secret to the maze, where's the center of the maze, she tells him the truth, that she's figured it out, it's in her, or it's inside.
It's inside them.
Yeah, and he doesn't get it. He's looking for this outward thing, and that's not what it was about. It's about that pyramid of how they built the hosts, where you have the different levels, and then they realized that it wasn't strictly just, the memories and things like that. It was also the pain, the difference between the earlier versions of the host and now versions of the host are they all have basically sad backstories. They've gone through pain. They've gone through pain over and over again with people, the humans, the customers, clients coming in and doing what they do. It doesn't say a whole heck of a lot for the human race because it's all. We go in there and it's sex and murder,
Well,
It's crazy.
Those are probably the two biggest things that are still socially and morally and ethically wrong.
Yeah.
Murder, okay, yeah, we get that. But all the other stuff that comes with it, the dominance of over people and whatnot, it's a weird, it is a weird world, and
Yeah.
you know, some people want that, and you know, they have this place, they can go to it, they can act out basically whatever fantasy they want.
Mm-hmm. And they
Wild,
do.
wild. So, and live this life, this carefree, you know,
There's
kind
no
of.
consequences. There's no consequences. They
Right,
can't
right.
hurt you, you know. So you can literally
actually
do
can't hurt you.
literally. So you can do whatever you want, you know. And it's pretty interesting. Maeve is the other character. I love Maeve. She's the other character that comes to realize, you know, who she is, what she is.
She seemed to come to that realization a couple of episodes sooner than everyone else. But they're
Yeah.
all kind of coming out of that and coming into it in their own way.
But then we find out that it was all programmed. That was all. If you look at the shot of the pad or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, and the list when he's telling her you were programmed for all this, it literally does say everything,
And when she starts to
including
speak,
escape.
But when she speaks, she sees it popping up like highlighted.
Yeah.
And it, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so she was actually programmed to do that, which they never specifically say who, but you've got to believe that it was Ford, obviously, that did that because of what he was planning. He's been planning this ending for a while. And the interesting thing with her, though, is I went back and I looked at the screenshot of, you know, that computer screen, and it never says leave the train, it says to go out into the world. She leaves the train to go find her daughter,
Yes.
knowing that it's not even her real daughter. You know what I
But
mean?
she feels
But to
that connection.
her, it is.
But she feels that connection.
Yeah, and so she actually makes that choice to leave, and I believe that that's the point where Maeve found her sentience. You know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think that's you know, when she really, because she fought the programming on that. I may be wrong. We may find out next season that I'm totally wrong. But I think that she fought her programming on that. She wanted to go
But
find her daughter so badly.
It's very possible, and you know, they jump back and forth so many times within timelines that, for me anyway, I got caught up. The whole thing with Wyatt was messing me up. The whole thing with the Man in Black, kind of going back and forth, and with William rerunning it over and over, kind of tripped me up a couple of times.
Sure.
Because I wasn't quite sure how and why they were going back. Because some people were going back constantly. Maeve went back a lot of times. Dolores went back a lot of times. But other characters just seemed to keep going forward, so, which was kind of confusing me. But you know, the last episode really kind of brought all of that to light.
2 points. The first is going back to the confusion of timelines. I wanted to say William's timeline, the one that they called William, that's the only timeline that I believe that was in the past, other than when it was literally flashbacks that you knew it was a flashback, like a Ford. But yeah, that was the timeline that was in the past, was William, and then the Man in Black is present day, and the Wyatt, that was new also, because that was Ford made Wyatt. He made the whole storyline. He just, nobody knew that Dolores was Wyatt from the time, when Arnold died. Literally Arnold, died, got shot by Dolores. That's when those events happened. And then when the whole Wyatt storyline and giving Teddy something to go after and all that kind of stuff that they were talking about episodes ago, then he made Wyatt. That was the Wyatt scene, Dolores.
William's friend.
Yes,
That was
Logan.
Logan, okay. So, if William is the Man in Black,
Yes.
how does Logan fit in the timeline? Because it seemed like Man in Black and Logan and William was still right there at the same timeline.
Nope. It was totally different tone. Logan was with William. You never see Logan, because Logan would be a lot older.
Yeah, that's
So,
I guess
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Or
Yeah, no.
dead. I don't know.
Or dead.
Yeah,
But
because doesn't he ride off on the horse butt naked? So we don't really
we don't know what
happens.
happens. Nope, we don't know what happens to
What had
him.
happened.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Whereas William, as you hear in the episode, he's like the major shareholder now of the company.
That's right.
So he went back and did that, and obviously came back and back and back, and in search for this,
In search for the ending of a maze that never existed in the first place.
Yeah, it was a concept. It wasn't a thing. It was a concept to give them consciousness, and that's there's only one way to do that. And I love the scene when Dolores discovers her true consciousness of when she's sitting, and all those conversations that you saw Dolores talking to Bernard and finding out, no, she's been sitting there alone talking to herself. She's always gone back there and sat and talked with herself. That was her inner voice. It wasn't him at all. Having those conversations.
So has Bernard been dead for a long time?
Arnold's been dead for a long time. Bernard's a host.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So that's how he was able to stay on the show. When he shot himself, Ford made him shoot himself. I thought, oh no, he's gonna be gone. What the heck? And then of course no, he's a host. He can
He's
be
a robot,
fixed. Yeah. But they can't fix Ford. So I'm kind of bummed Anthony Hopkins not coming back. And it's true he's not coming back because he actually, I think he tweeted, thanks so much for a great season or something, a show or something like that.
I thought he really made the show.
He was awesome.
He's dark. He's deep.
Yep.
Very
Layered.
intellectual character. Absolutely a lot of layers.
Yeah.
And that was
Great actor. He'll be missed. Next season, not a lot of rumors. Obviously, if they're working on it, then there's not a lot of set stuff. But a couple of things we do know is there's more than just one park. It's not just the Westworld, because she's going to look for her daughter in Park 1. Well, which one? What's Park 1? And also, when she was getting shown around and everything, you see the Samurai World. It literally, the sign on it is SW,
Yes.
Samurai World.
Yes,
So we may see other parks. I guess in the old movies, Future World was a sequel, and there's also was supposed to be several other parks in the movies too. So we may be seeing some more parks next season.
See, it's funny because now they could bring the movie back in a different park.
Yeah.
And have completely different actors, different narratives, if you will, and make it whatever they want, because now they've reopened that dialogue of Westworld and Future World and all that. So just create a different park and they can start from scratch.
Or I don't know, is it going to be, next season going to be basically just the uprising of the hosts? I mean, can you do a whole season of that? I don't know. Obviously, there's got to be some consequences because they've just killed everybody that's on the board.
Right.
Other than William, the Man in Black. They only shot him in the arm, which I heard speculation that's because that's what Ford wanted. Because William always wanted them to be real, he didn't want to just outright have him killed. He wanted him to be able to fight, do what he wanted, give him what he wanted, essentially.
It's a confusing show.
It's crazy.
It's a good show. It's
awesome.
a very well acted show.
Awesome.
I think I heard Evan Woods is going to be up for a nomination for it.
Yes.
For a best actress in a drama, something like that.
Yes.
They've got several nominations, I believe. So, and she's definitely how she turns on from human to host at the drop of a hat. Maeve, same thing.
She talked about that in one of the late night shows. Unfortunately, I can't remember which one it was, but I just saw it recently. Yeah, she talked about the fact that it was the hardest acting that she's had to do because of that. And she said, literally, I mean, there's no cuts, there's no faking, going from hysterical to when they say, you know, shut off the emotions, you have to do it right there in front of the camera. You know, there's no cut. So, yeah.
And that's a sign of a good actor or actress, if you will.
Absolutely.
To be able to turn those emotions and make those micro expressions that she made.
Yes.
Of just a little smirk or the eyes, you know, saying everything of what the emotion is feeling.
Exactly.
The emotion is, instead of using words.
That's a great actor. It's a
Now,
great actor.
in writing, they say, you know, it's better to. In writing, in script writing, they say it's better to see the emotion than say it.
Yes.
You know, it comes across more genuine.
When you've got good actors, you can have less words because they convey it.
Right.
So, but definitely, definitely a great show, and I'm looking forward to 2018.
It's gonna be a while. A little bit.
A little bit. Make sure you check out our website, thoughtsfromatvgeek.com. Also, if you'd like to tweet me, I'm at Kelly E. Neal on Twitter and on Instagram. And we hope you have a happy holiday and New Year.